What impact specifically do you feel Black women had toward this specific movement in the UK in the 70s?
Massive impact. My mother moved to England round about the time of this movement with my father, and she talked to me about the East End Mafia. You know, they wanted to keep blacks, which included everybody who wasn't white. I think this is something that's significant. We are going back to a time when black didn't mean me or you. It also meant anybody who was off color. And so when I look back, and even today, what black women represent in society, you know, I come from West Africa. My mother, my aunties, my cousins, they're all really strong, really present people. I come from a society that's matriarchal. The culture is created by the woman. My sense of self is created by the society of women. How we behave to other people is created by the women. So I know what it feels like to come from that. I know my father's place in that. That perspective isn't one I've necessarily seen in the West. I've got to be honest with you. It's not for nothing that we say Mama Africa. And I feel that there is some pride to be had in being black and a woman, and to embrace that. And to go even further, step out on a limb here, my mother doesn't need anyone to represent her. I know that sounds really deep, but she is so proud of who she is that even when she's talking to me, she's like, go up onto that world stage when you go up and just be there. And do not react until someone tells you you shouldn't be there. And react with a question. And if they then say to you, no, the reason you shouldn't be here is because you're black, then either don't have anything to do with them again or tell them they're wrong and move on.
I love what you just said. You said that your mother, she doesn't necessarily need anyone to represent her.
She doesn't.
Because there has been a lot of flack. A lot of black women feel that there is such a lack of representation in this series. And do you think that black women, I know you can't speak more so in America, but do you think that they get enough credit for their contribution to this world?
Absolutely not. They do not. That is the God honest truth. Some of the deepest wisdoms that I've ever heard in my life come from black women. You know, to this day, I have a little sister. I'm 4 years older than her, but when, you know, stuff gets tough, she's the one I call. My mother's the one I call and have long conversations with. My dad just wants to be like, hey, dude, you'll be fine. You know how guys are. I'm being sexist towards men. I think I'm allowed. I don't think they get enough representation. And it's not about even wants. I think it's a need, and if we don't actually do something about it, I have a feeling that it's dangerous for society. The flag that's come up in this series was specifically about Frida being cast as an Asian woman to represent what is predominantly seen as a black struggle. 2.5 times more Asians in London and England than there are black people. So that's something to consider first. There were many Asians involved in the movement as well. Why don't I get kicked out and they bring Riz Ahmed in? Because then maybe the numbers will start to add up. John wanted to put an interracial couple at the middle of this because we're a minority within a minority. And actually that creates its own challenges. When I can turn around and say, yeah, well, you're light. I know where your people are from. You're probably from, like, you know, this part of Africa where they're kind of mixed with the Arabs. So you're not really from where I'm from. And look at me, dark as night. Yeah, no, I'm from Kenya. I know what's up. You know, so I think this is the sort of issue that we've reached that point where we're trying to. I think we need to move on to a stage where we're in my mom's heart, where she feels like anyone can represent her as long as they stand up for what she stands up for, regardless of what they look like. Yeah, and we'll get there.